So not too long ago, there was a collaboration that Byredo did with Travis Scott, and the fragrance is called SpaceX, or Space Rage, excuse me. Here we have Dossier's interpretation of that fragrance, and of course I've reviewed a number of Dossier fragrances in the past. You know that they release their own inspiration or interpretation of really popular and sometimes expensive designer or niche fragrances. I've been sampling this one for a while now. I'm going to give you my thoughts on it in just a second, so make sure to stay tuned. Now, before I begin today's episode and I give you my thoughts on Green Fig, which is Dossier's version of Travis Scott's, and this is called Space Rage by Byredo. I've had a chance to try the original. Of course, it's this overly ripe, fruity fragrance. I want to start the video off first by saying that if you're a fan of fragrance-related content, please do consider supporting the channel by subscribing to it, hit the bell, and of course, give this video a thumbs up for the YouTube algorithm. It would really mean a lot to me. So, Space Rage, right? This cosmic concoction of different notes. And of course, every Dossier purchase comes with this card inside the box that tells you the inspiration, the concentration, the notes, a little description. So it's actually quite nice. And with this one, you have green notes, blackcurrant, and apple. So right off the top, you're going to get the impression that it's going to be rather fruity and juicy. You have geranium, fig, and tiare flower in the heart. So kind of a clean floral mid. Cedarwood and dried fruits in the dry down, and this one is 12% concentration of oil, so it's more along the lines of like an eau de toilette. But nevertheless, here we have Dossier's interpretation of it, having had the opportunity to try the original. I'm going to go back and forth. I'm going to do just a slight comparison throughout the course of this video, but I'm also going to let you know what I think of this more importantly. Let's start things off with a quick look at the presentation first. So right in the opening of this fragrance, you are going to get this apple and fig combination. So you do get the dried fruits in here, and it's funny because Byredo has another fragrance called Pulp, which, if I'm not mistaken, has either been discontinued or it's harder to find or something like that. I recall reading something online recently. And that fragrance has always been like this overripe explosion of different fruits, and that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting with this one. So I thought, wait a second, is this basically Pulp repackaged and reimagined with a new bottle, new presentation, new name? But this one obviously has more of an emphasis on that note of fig, and it's understandable. So here's the thing about fig, right? It's a beautiful fruit. I love consuming it. However, it's a fantasy note in perfumes. It's usually a combination of other ingredients. As a matter of fact, some molecules that go to create like a coconut smell in fragrances also go into the synthesis of a fig accord. And a lot of coconut smells or coconut notes in perfumes can be a little bit on the lactonic side of things, which means that they smell a little milky. Here's the thing about this fragrance. It has the blackcurrant, which actually creates a bit of this musky personality. The apple is really, really juicy. Of course, the fig and the dried fruits kind of contribute to that saccharine, overly ripe, bursting at the seams quality that you're going to get from this one. And I wore this one around the house. My wife smelled it and she goes, oh, that one smells good, right? So she's usually a pretty tough critic when it comes to these things because she knows what she likes. But there's something about this aroma that, despite that overly ripe quality, it's very accessible, and it has this mass appeal factor about it. In the dry down, I mentioned that there is cedarwood. I don't get anything explicitly woody from this. And there's also geranium in the heart. Geranium is a little rosy, a little minty. So this doesn't actually smell like rose or mint. So I am having a hard time picking up on the presence of the geranium, if I'm being totally honest with you. But the fig, that tiare flower, just giving it this sort of clean vibe in the heart. Of course, you have the apple, you have the dried fruits in the dry down. This is a really juicy, fruity, slightly milky, sweet, bursting at the seams type of a fruit fragrance. And of course, with a name like Green Fig, It's all in the name, really. This is a fig-based fragrance, with fig being the dominant accord, let's say, in this scent. So if you're a fan of Pulp by Byredo, try this. If you want a sweeter version of Philosopos by Diptyque, of course, it's totally different, but if you can imagine Philosopos, but with the sweetness amped up by like 4 or 5 decibels, I know that's a unit of measurement as it pertains to sound, but please accept the analogy. This is a wonderful, sweet, fruity fragrance, and I'm really enjoying it. And it's interesting because, you know, Byredo fragrances are quite expensive. They are available at some department stores, but the ones that carry like the really high-end fragrance brands, but Dossier has a really affordable counterpart that comes super, super close to the original. Let's go ahead and finish things off with my overall assessment. So first up, in terms of the uniqueness and the overall smell, well, of course, this is an inspiration of a popular niche fragrance by Byredo, so this is not unique or original. But in terms of the smell, it does have a certain mass appeal factor to it. Longevity on this one is a solid 7 hours on skin. It's 12% oil. Projection was great for the first hour of application. It radiated within an arm's length. It became an elbow's length scent right around hour 5, a skin scent right around hour 7. Versatility, dressed up or dressed down, perfectly unisex. Anybody could wear it, anybody of any age. And I would personally wear this all year round. The fig and the fruity notes are great for the hotter weather. The longevity and some of the darker notes in the dry down are great for the colder weather. In terms of the presentation, you have heard my thoughts on the Dossier presentation any number of times now. My final verdict on this fragrance, it's a solid alternative to Space Rage, which was a collaboration with Travis Scott by Byredo. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video today. I hope you took something of value from today's episode. If you did, of course, please do consider supporting the channel by subscribing to it. Hit the bell, give this video a thumbs up, drop your comments down below. What has been your experience with Dossier? Do you have any favorite Dossier fragrances? If you do, I would love to hear. If there are any that you would like me to review, let me know and I will do my best to acquire a bottle. Thanks again for watching. Love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.